Mark, I sit here. I am outside NIH, and I'm here to talk about why it's really bad that Trump and Russell Vogt just fired and replaced an NIH director. It's a lot worse than it seems. So why is that? Because they've now set the crazy precedent of arbitrarily replacing institute directors, and that is going to break the way NIH works. Let me go through it. All right. So first, NIH has a director, and below it, there are 27 institute directors. Here's the two important things about institute directors. Number one, they are civil servants, not political appointees. And number two, they have the final authority over how much money their institute spends. Each institute gets its own, inside NIH, there's something like 27 of them. Each institute gets its own budget from Congress, and the NIH budget is split up across these institutes. So, for example, the NCI Director, the Cancer Institute Director, controls the 7.27 billion NCI budget. All right. I said they're civil servants, not political appointees. IC directors, institute directors, are chosen by other scientists for their leadership and their scientific skills. They're hired by they have always been hired by convening a search committee of leading scientists that come from inside and outside NIH. That committee effectively chooses the director. And it's really hard to recruit IC directors because they could make, usually, almost always, they could make a lot more money outside of NIH. IC directors also usually have to have experience as both doctors and basic scientists, since most NIH institutes have both clinical research, clinical trials, and basic fundamental science. It is really hard to find that combination, a scientific leader who can do all of that and is willing to take a pay cut. So shifting IC directors from being chosen by top scientists to being chosen exclusively by the White House, making them political appointees, would be a huge disaster. Imagine picking the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles because they were friends with Trump. In most cases, what you'd end up with is a crappy football team. You want that person to be chosen for their qualifications. And the same thing is true for NIH IC directors. We've seen what happens when scientific decisions are made by politicians. You get Neil Gorsuch and John Roberts. Just kidding, but not kidding. Well, politicians running science also led to Lysenkoism in the Soviet Union and Soviet biomedical science just falling to pieces. Okay, here's the second thing. IC directors control all of the budget for their institute. IC directors are currently delegated with final grant-making authority, legal grant-making authority for all grants to come out of their NIH institute. If you're Russell Vogt from Project 2025 and you want to use NIH as a political weapon to hurt your enemies and enrich your cronies, what do you want to do? You want to control the institute directors. So this replacement is really bad. One more question people have asked me. Oh, well, it's NIEHS, the Environmental Health Institute. Of course, RFK and billionaires want to come after that. So people tell me that, oh, the other institutes will be okay. But that is wrong. What we have seen over and over from this administration is Mussolini's famous pluck the chicken one feather at a time strategy. They first try a move in the place that it will produce the least pushback. Then, if it works, they expand. And here, they fired the NIEHS director and announced it late on a Friday. That's a Friday news dump. And they did it at the institute that is perhaps the biggest political football. And since there's been almost no pushback, now this sets them up to do the same thing, to fire and replace with politicals, with Trump friends and cronies, other institute directors in the future. Okay, so putting J.D. Vance's friend in charge of an institute at NIH, breaking the normal process for selecting scientific talent, this is really bad. And we should all make noise. Show this video to your colleagues, post about it on social media, talk to regular media, and call your Congress members. It's important. Thank you.